start with just saying who I am for those of you who might not know who I am. My name is Joe Weston, and I'm currently in Washington, D.C., originally from New York, and lived for a time in the Netherlands. And I've created a piece of work called, it's certainly a piece of work called Respectful Confrontation. And I've written a book on that called Mastering Respectful Confrontation. And the method, it's a method and a practice that helped me and has helped many others to stand in your power, speak your truth, get your needs met in a way where you don't get harmed and other people don't get harmed. And this is can start in terms of your personal relationships as well as with yourself. And what we're seeing, what's happened in the last 12 years or so of this work being out in the world, is that many organizations are using it for conflict resolution or conflict prevention, and many different areas of the world and many different types of people are using it to develop more of a sense of resilience and a sense of finding a way to be in their power in oftentimes situations where you may feel powerless. And where the work has really been growing is this idea that respectful confrontation can give you the courage and the skills to be able to speak to people who are different from you and to speak to people who have different views. And what we're seeing playing out in the world, if there's anything that the world needs now, certainly in the United States and in other parts of the world, is some way to bridge the polarity of views of, if you don't have the same views that I have, you must be wrong. And we're seeing that play out. So respectful confrontation is really a way to have those conversations. And perhaps where you would think in the past there were no solutions, suddenly new solutions can emerge. So how that's playing out now is that I've been taking the work really into a place of resilience and a concept that I call courageous civility. And what we're seeing playing out is that we can't take for granted anymore that where we hang out, that people are going to be civil with each other or in the workplace. And if we want to maintain certain levels of values within ourselves of respect and compassion and open-hearted engagement and understanding and inclusivity and inclusion and equality, we have to step up and cultivate that within ourselves and actually make a point of, in a respectful way, creating the environment that allows for dialogue, that allows for discussion. And that's what we're here to do, is to develop those skills. In the practice of respectful confrontation, one of the main practices is the core exercise. And in that, you develop more of a sense of presence, more of a sense of grounding and connection to self, connection to surroundings, and connection to others. And that becomes a starting point for how you can actually engage with more challenging situations. It's a way to be present and engaged and to have more impact and influence on your environment and on others in a way that leads to lasting change. But it begins with the self. And I think that that's the starting point. So the idea of the core exercise for lasting peace is, what is it actually going to take for us to create within ourselves, within our immediate environment, within our local communities, within our nations, within the world, this idea of lasting peace. We can sign treaties, we can have regime changes, but that in itself is not going to get at the root cause of what is causing a lot of strife and inequality and pain and hunger and war. I'm not saying I have the answer. All I'm saying is that I have a belief that it begins with going within. And one of the concepts I work with is this idea of occupy your heart. Many of us talk about concepts of compassion. We talk about concepts of love and inclusion, and that's a great starting point as values. But have we really taken the time to go in and see, are we really practicing that on a deep level? And this exercise of the core exercise for lasting peace is a way of not only building resilience, not only gaining more skill in being present and having more impact and influence on yourself, your surroundings, and others, but also increasing your capacity for compassion, increasing your capacity to eventually bring about lasting change in a benevolent way that benefits not only you, not only those that you know, but benefits all. And in this way, as we see in this exercise, the possibility to actually engage with those that you don't agree with, or you might consider adversaries, or that you find challenging, in order to find new solutions. So that's just a little background of who I am and the work and what the purpose of this is and what the purpose of this exercise is. So I'd like to begin and lead you through that. And then afterwards, perhaps I can say a few more words. With this exercise, it's an exercise, as with most practices, it's not the idea that you get it the first time. And even if you do get it the first time, it can be a long process of many years before you can integrate this. And actually, the purpose of practice is that you create new habits, so that you're not just finding your sense of inner peace and compassion and love when you're sitting on a meditation cushion or out in the woods hanging out with trees or on the beach, but that you can actually do it in your workplace, with your family. You can actually move through the world with an embodied sense of compassion and wisdom, even in challenging situations, with the proper amount of resilience. So in this, it's kind of a meditative practice. I wouldn't call it a meditation, but it was close to that. And the idea is to be able to sit in a way where you are comfortable, where your spine can be straight, where there's little distractions and you're not distracting anyone else. And to go through the process of really seeing what is coming up for you, what are you experiencing in this present moment. To do that, to start the process, the core exercise involves a concept that I call the center. Some others would call it the core. The Chinese would call it the dantian. The Japanese would call it the hara. And it's an awareness in your body and a focal point for this exercise. So I'd like to just share for you to investigate where that is, if this is a new concept to you. So the center is a place that, if you can take a moment and just go within, it's about the width of 3 fingers below your navel and 1/3 of the way into the body. So if you take your fingers and you put them together and you place your index finger over your navel, where your pinky resides, that's about the width of 3 fingers below your navel. So see if you can focus on that point. And from that point, bring your awareness inside of your body, about 1/3 of the way from the front of the body. So you're actually focusing on a point that doesn't actually exist like an organ, but is a sense within your body, a place of awareness. The width of 3 fingers below your navel and 1/3 of the way into the body. Now, if you're not getting any images, or if you're not getting it, it's okay. This can take years to cultivate. It's more about where you're putting your attention right now, which is the key thing. So with this exercise, everything moves from the core, you could say. So I'd like you now to, if it feels safe for you, to close your eyes. Feel your body for a moment. Feel the parts of your body that are connecting with the chair or the cushion or the floor, or whatever you're sitting on, your feet and your lower body. And notice the connection that these parts of your body are making with whatever it is that you're sitting on. And actually see if you can allow gravity to let you drop in more. Letting gravity just bring you, drop in deeper, giving your nervous system the message, you are held. Let yourself be held by this chair, by the ground. Let your nervous system rest in that. Taking a deep breath into your lower belly, bringing your full awareness and attention to this place called the center, the width of 3 fingers below your navel, a third of the way into the body. As I said, I call this a center. You could say that it's your center of awareness. It's how you perceive your reality. Center of creativity, the impulse, where I would say your personal power resides. As we go along with this exercise, keeping in mind for yourself that there's no right way to do this or wrong way to do this. It's simply finding your way back to presence. If you find your mind wandering away from what you're focusing on, which at this moment is your center in your lower belly, see if you can notice that as quickly as possible. Bring your awareness to your center. From your center, become aware of your physical body. Simply take a moment to notice. In fact, that's all you're doing from this point on, is from your center, becoming aware, is listening to all that is unfolding in this present moment, starting with the physical body. What sensations are you aware of? Tension, release, heartbeat, breath. And allowing anything to flow that wants to flow. Just if energy wants to flow, let it flow. If emotions want to flow, let them flow without judgment. From your center, become aware of your emotions, so your emotional body. What emotions are you present to? As you gain more contact first with your physical body and sensation, what emotions are you present to? There are probably hundreds of emotions flowing through you. Which ones seem to be most present and on the surface? And with a spacious breath, allow them to flow. And with more of an awareness from your center, become aware of your mental body. How are your thoughts? Not necessarily what are your thoughts, but how are your thoughts? Are they tight and judgmental? Are they spacious and generous? From your awareness, become aware of your thoughts. And keeping your awareness in your center as the foundation of this exercise, you could say the foundation of all things, and how you perceive your reality. Keeping an awareness in your center, now bringing awareness also to your heart, or the middle of your chest, where I would say your heart power resides. Respect, compassion, understanding, connection, love. And from your center, where your personal power resides, and from your heart, where your heart power resides, ask yourself the question, how connected do I feel at this moment to something larger than myself? I wouldn't spend time getting caught up on what that is. That could be many things. It could be spirit, it could be God, it could be humanity, it could be love, the universe, it could be the matrix. It's more about the experience right now, at this moment, from my personal power, my center, from my heart. How connected do I feel to something larger than myself? And allow yourself, give yourself the gift of experiencing that, whatever that is. And with more of an awareness of yourself at this moment, physically, emotionally, mentally, maybe spiritually, from your center and from your heart, take a full breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. In the middle of this process of coming more into the present moment, first by developing a deeper awareness and connection with yourself. And now with more of a connection with yourself, with more of awareness in your own sense of personal power and your own sense of heart power, power of the heart. From your center and from your heart, become aware of your surroundings, preferably with your eyes closed. And really take a moment and see if it's possible from your center and from your heart to actually connect and engage with your awareness and your presence with your surroundings. Behind you, above you, smells, sounds, temperature. What does the silence sound like? Asking yourself two questions. How much am I, simply with my presence and awareness, impacting my surroundings? And simply by connecting, the second question, how much am I being impacted by my surroundings? And notice, without judgment. Allowing energy to flow, emotions to flow. And with more of an awareness of yourself at this moment and placing yourself in a context and more awareness with your surroundings, from your center and from your heart, take a full breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And keeping your full awareness in your center and your heart with a deeper awareness of yourself and your surroundings. From your center and from your heart, become aware of and reach out and connect with those who are on this session from various parts of the world. From your personal power and from your heart power, simply with your presence and awareness, reaching out and connecting to those who are also on this call, doing this meditation, from your center and from your heart. And notice, allowing energy to flow, emotions to flow. And again, asking, how courageous do I feel at this moment to impact someone else from my personal power and from my heart power? And how courageous do I feel at this moment to be impacted by others in my center and in my heart? and notice. And with more of an awareness of yourself, your surroundings, and the others on this call, take a full breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And with more of awareness of yourself, more expansion in your own personal power and in your heart, see if we can expand that even more, expand that heart connection, that heart capacity even more to the whole human family, let's say. From your center and from your heart, just noticing how connected do you feel to all other beings. And let me make that a little bit more specific for you to see. Let's start with, first of all, in a category from your center, with a connection with yourself, your surroundings, and everyone on this call. From your center and from your heart, how connected do you feel at this moment to those that you would consider loved ones? Family members, colleagues, friends, teachers, mentors, students. From your center and from your heart, reaching out to connect with those you would call loved ones. And as you continue with your deep breaths, noticing how that impacts you, and considering how you might be impacting them at this moment. And from your center and from your heart, connecting with those that you might call strangers. Proportionately, the chances are that there are more human beings on this planet who you would categorize as strangers. At this moment, from your center and from your heart, how connected do you feel? How much can you connect with from your center and from your heart with those you would call strangers? And notice. And from your center and from your heart, opening up to a connection with those you might call adversaries. Is it possible from your heart, from your core, from your personal power, from your heart power, to connect with those that you would call adversaries? And notice. How might you be impacting them at this moment, and how might they be impacting you at this moment? And investigate what's coming up for you or moving through you at this moment. And as you cultivate more of a sense of connection with yourself, your surroundings, with those on this call, and with all those in the human family, let's not forget one other being in the human family, yourself. From your center and from your heart, can you reach into a deeper connection with yourself? And notice. Now with a deeper sense of connection and awareness with yourself, your surroundings, and with all other human beings, take a full breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Deep breath. And just take a moment to register your level of expansion, if there is expansion, your level of capacity to tap into your own personal power, to your own heart power. And imagine if you could cultivate this, that you don't have to actually sit and meditate to do this, that you are walking through the world with this level of awareness of your own personal power, heart power, and connection to others. Just imagine the capacity you could have, any endeavors you might have, sense of resilience, possibly peace, and the gifts that you have to offer to others. And holding on to this sense of awareness, of expansion, of capacity, bringing our focus from all beings on the planet to those in this circle, on this call. Bring our awareness back into the environment you're in, your surroundings. And lastly, bringing everything back home to yourself, to your core and your heart. One could say that's where home really resides. And one last time, let's take a full breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Very slowly open your eyes and shake out your body. Get energy moving when it feels right for you. Thank you for sharing in that experience. I could really feel the connection. I could really feel, for all those on this call, your own capacity for love and wisdom and desire to see that expand through the world. So thank you for contributing that. I think there's something very powerful and sacred about connecting with others around the world, particularly through the vehicle we call the internet, to be able to weave that into all of the negativity. And what we're seeing play out is how much permission people feel they have to be aggressive in really horrific ways because they know they're behind a computer and the person they may be victimizing is on the other side of the planet and wouldn't dare to do that face to face. So what a lovely way to use the internet to spread empowered love and compassion and a message of how, or a commitment to, or a desire for this idea of lasting peace, where we begin with occupying our own hearts and realize that any person we encounter, we can cultivate a sense of equanimity in terms of seeing them, how much are we triggered by someone before we even get to know them? How open is our heart to someone before we even get to speak with someone, based on just that very simple formula of seeing them as friend, stranger, or adversary. And I'm not saying we now have to passively love everyone. I am saying that as we expand our capacity to have respect and compassion for all beings, then even those that you considered enemies, if you were able to even open your heart up 1% to them out of 100%, then just think about it. That's 1% more chance of finding new solutions to our current problems. And it's up to us to see if we can cultivate that for our own practice, cultivating it within ourselves, building that sense of peace and resilience within us, and to see how we can share that level of resilience and have the courage and the skills to engage, particularly with those who see things differently, to see if we can find some sense of common ground. So again, thank you for joining us. I don't know if there's anyone, we have a minute or two, if there's anyone who would like to say a couple of words about your experience, particularly if you've never experienced this exercise before. Any of you have something to share? It's not necessary, but feel free. I would like to say that I really do appreciate those who are experiencing this for the first time, maybe even experiencing me for the first time. Welcome. And if you want to know anything more about me and the work, please feel free to get in touch. An email address to reach me at is heartwalker@respectfulconfrontation.com. heartwalker@respectfulconfrontation.com. And I hope to see you more regularly on this meditation and continue to share what you would like to share. Still have another moment if someone wants to share something.
Hi, Joe. My name's Stephen. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Stephen.
Yeah. I just want to say I appreciate the gentle invitation, like the 1%. I think part of with things being so dualistic out in the world of relating, that often it's kind of all or nothing, and to show up 1% can feel a lot easier than to say I have to completely show up, and even if I don't agree, to attempt to have some sort of relationship or make some sort of peace with this person. So I just appreciate that increment, because it can feel much more possible.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So that's all I wanted to. I just wanted to recognize that.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, and I think that's that's what I'm always thinking is, how do we break the rigid polarity, right? And unfortunately, we live in a culture where we think that to go from one side, we have to throw ourselves totally into the other side, and that's not working. We try that, and it's not working. We can see that play out in our personal lives. We see it play out politically, and in movements. And that, yes. So I appreciate you saying that 1% today is more than you had capacity for yesterday, and that initial 1% is the seed that could lead to more if you cultivate it. And sometimes that 1% is all of open-heartedness with someone that you have trouble engaging with, is all that's needed to really create a monumental shift. So thank you. And I love your backdrop, Stephen. It's great.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I want to close with what I call a dedication. Some of the practices I have is, we opened with kind of a motivation. I kind of explained what the purpose of this is. And we did our practice. And I believe that my belief is, we really, by taking this time and really in this focused way with such attention to cultivate open-hearted power, you could say, to really choose into cultivating our own capacity to increase our ability to be of service through compassion and through our wisdom, we generate a lot of positive energy and a lot of goodwill that is now being woven into the fabric of the internet and around the planet. And so what I'd like to offer is that we dedicate that energy so that we give it a good direction of where it might best be used. And it's just a game. It's just an imagination game we're playing. You play along, you don't play along. But again, from your heart, if you think about, you've activated your own sense of personal power, you've activated your own capacity for love and compassion. Imagine if now you can dedicate all of your positive merits to those things that need some energy right now. So for yourself, just take a moment, close your eyes if you like, and think of loved ones who could use some support, people who are ill, people who are dying or have died. Endeavors that you're on, may they be well nourished. If you're struggling with some issues, may you find resolution. For those in the world who go to bed hungry, may they wake up tomorrow in a world where there's enough for everyone. May the positive merits that we create lead to governments choosing to govern out of wisdom as opposed to fear. And may we really understand what it means to cultivate lasting peace. It's a moment to moment and day to day, no matter how enlightened or how you are progressing in your own process. It's a constant moment to moment cultivation, lasting peace. May we all have the courage and the resilience and the wisdom and the compassion to do that. And to close this, let's take a full breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And shake a little bit. And thanks for joining us again. And if this is something that you benefited from, or you see that the idea is we want to do this every week at the same time. And the hope is to each time to gather more people and see if we can really get a wave going throughout the world in different parts of the world. It's also an opportunity for you, at least for a half an hour every week, to practice and cultivate. The more you repeat this, the more you don't have to think about it. It becomes second nature, and you can walk in the world with this, particularly in stressful moments. That's the purpose of this. So if this has benefited you, if you feel that it's moved you in some way, please come back every week and join us, or as often as you can. And it would be beneficial for us if you told as many people as you know and had them join us to join in this global effort, as I say, to weave the golden thread of lasting peace around the world. And if you want more information about my work and about the work that we're doing with Respectful Confrontation, check out our website, respectfulconfrontation.com. And feel free to get in touch at any time if you have any questions. So thank you very much, and let's sign off. How do we do this? Let's sign off.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Rock.
Thank you, Joe.